Okay, here's part 2 of 5 common questions and objections raised by Muslims when they hear the gospel. The fourth objection, and I've heard this a good bit, is a rejection of substitutionary atonement. So for the Muslim, salvation comes from their own deeds, their own works. Their good deeds have to outweigh their bad, and they do not understand how someone else's righteousness can be applied to someone else, and how someone else's evil can be applied to someone else's. That to them seems unfair and wrong. Option number 1 I like to share with them is by first admitting that, yeah, it does seem wrong. Like if someone killed my family and the judge decided to just let the murderer go because someone else was willing to step in and take that penalty, I don't see that as being justice. And in our system, the judge would be breaking the law. But within God's system of law, he's allowed for substitution. I like to share that with them, that if God created this system, then it would be okay. And in this case, God's the only one who is innocent, so he's the only one who is able to willfully step in. Which leads to option 2, sharing about how God is love. He's loving, just, and righteous. Out of his love, he's willing to step in and pay our penalty on our behalf and to save us. Out of his justice and righteousness, he can't just forgive sins. He can't just wipe them away without there being penalty. But again, out of his love for us, he's decided to take that penalty upon himself. Which also leads to option 3. Is it fair for Allah to forgive sins without penalty? In their system, as long as your good deeds outweigh your bad, you can have paradise. Well, what happens to your bad deeds, your evil deeds? Is there any penalty paid for them? Not that I see. It's like Allah just erases them. So I like to present that to them, because I do think Allah is just wiping out the evil deeds. Like maybe Mother Teresa could be an example. If she stole something, or if she murdered someone, but she's done a lot of other really good stuff, is it okay for her to go to paradise? Because maybe everything else is outweighed this one really bad act that she made just for a momentary loss of judgment or something like that. Would that then be okay for Allah to just forgive it? That's kind of been a good way for me to carry the conversation with them. The last objection here is, how can you be certain that you are saved? What we're sharing with them is good news. It's very welcoming to them. They would like for it to be true. When they see the certainty that we have in it, they would really like to know for sure, like, why are you so sure of this? And I think it's helpful for us to remember that this is, if they were to leave Islam, it could be a lot at stake for them. Maybe potentially losing their family. Maybe if they're from an Islamic country and they go back, having to face extreme persecution for becoming Christian. So they really want to know for certain. And I like to just share with them that I know for certain, because Jesus Christ rose from the grave, that his tomb is empty. So the what of Christianity, which is the gospel, that Christ died for sins, was buried, and rose from the grave, is also the why of Christianity. And there's a whole lot that needs to be said to unpack how we actually know this happened historically, and how we know that we can trust the Bible historically. You can look at my YouTube page and see other videos I've made on those topics, or there are a lot of books that you can read as well that give a lot of really great information, so we can answer their questions if they want to know more than that. All right, finally, to share the gospel with Muslims, you usually need to meet Muslims. Some ideas to meet Muslims. I like Islamic Chinese food. It's a special type of cuisine within China. There are kind of an Islamic. There's a big Islamic population in China, and their food has a special quality to it than the rest of Chinese food. And there's a Chinese Islamic restaurant semi-close to where I live, and I visit there. So if you do already know Muslims, that could be a good place to go to share a meal with them. If you want to meet Muslims, that's usually who frequents this restaurant. I think if you go to an Islamic restaurant with a Muslim, it's already set itself up for a religious conversation, simply because you are in an Islamic place. So it lends itself to asking questions about their faith, and hopefully them being able to share the gospel with them. Another option is ESL classes. That's English Second Language Learners. A lot of people who are Islamic that we will encounter may be here as new immigrants to America, maybe here just on student visas. Sometimes they come here just to learn English and take English classes. But if they're just here, they would like to meet some American friends, would like to practice speaking English if they haven't had much opportunities to speak it in their life. And so if we create English second language conversations groups, or even maybe make a Bible study, which is for ESL students, and then intentionally invite the Islamic community to it, it could be a good opportunity for us to share the gospel with them and meet Muslims that way. Another one is to seek out an Islamic club on a university. Most universities now in America have Islamic student clubs. These clubs usually host events which are very much for proselytizing and spreading Islam. And so who better to attend such events and gatherings than conservative Christians who know God's word and will stand firm in it and not be persuaded to Islam. And they're there to discuss their faith, and so it's a great opportunity to meet Muslims there that want to share their faith and would be willing to speak with you, because as much as you would like them to become Christian, they also would like you to become Muslim. So I've had a lot of great experiences using all three of these in order to meet Muslims and share the gospel with them. So those are just some ideas in case you're sitting there going, okay, this is great, this is what I can expect when I share the gospel with Muslims, but where do I meet them and how do I get that started? All right, I hope this two-part video series has been helpful for you. God bless you.